So I'm super excited about our conversation. Tell our listeners a little bit about you and what you do.
Okay, my name is Nooshin Bagheri. I am actually born in, everyone always asks, where are you from? So I'm actually born and raised here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a Southern Belle.
Nice, yes.
But I am a first-generation American. My family immigrated from Iran. I have my own practice in immigration law, and I'm here located in Atlanta. However, since it's based on federal law, I'm able to help clients all across the U.S. and even abroad with any of their immigration questions and processes.
Nice. So why did you pick immigration law as a practice?
One thing I think I just have, so personally I'm an empathetic person, and so when you deal with immigration or immigrants, you know, in that area of law, you really have to see the human side of your clientele. This is just not paper pushing. This is not like, it's definitely not the area of law that you're making the money in. So you really want to be there to help the people that you're helping. I don't have that personality for a litigator. I think it's great, but it's just not me. I really like to connect with my clientels. At the end of my cases, they become like family. Because I feel like I could relate to them. I myself, I did not immigrate myself, so I didn't experience a lot of these people they have done, but my parents have. My parents came from Iran probably about 50, 60 years ago.
Wow.
And it's just being raised in kind of dual identity of being American yet Iranian has been interesting. And my dad always still enforcing the traditions, the culture, the language. And so back then, you know, you just wanted to fit in, but now it's been great because now it helps me in my career. Now I can speak to my clients in Farsi. Yeah. I can help them. I can relate to them. I know when you're dealing with these clients, you have to know the tradition as well, because every client from different parts of the world, they have different ways of how you communicate, how you do transactions, and you have to be aware of that and sensitive to that. And so I just had this relatable touch to, you know, immigrants and foreigners, grew up around them, and so traveled a lot. Traveling was one of my favorite things to do. So I just feel very relatable to it.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting that you say they become like family after, because this is quite a process, yes? Like it's months long.
Oh, it could be
very
years.
Intensive. Years? Oh,
it could be at least a year or so, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I've never personally been through the process, but I do have friends that have been. So walk us through, because what I admire about this process, when you are immigrating into the United States, the test, if you will, that you go through, like most of those individuals probably know more than I do about my own country by the time they get through, which is always amazing to me, right? Because I think there's just a different level of respect and appreciation that comes out of that. So walk us through a little bit of like the process to actually go through this and why it takes so long.
So there's multiple processes. There's so what I like to say in immigration, it could be divided in 3 subsections, and not all immigration cover all sections. We have one section which is the asylum and the deportations that you hear about in the news all the time.
Sure.
There is work-based visas and green cards where people will want to work for an employer here someone from abroad wants to work for an employer here, either temporarily or eventually try to get a green card through their employer to be able to stay and work. And then there's family-based, which those are the majority of cases I handle, where you have loved ones here who want to bring their family from abroad, or even if the loved one happens to be here in the U.S., to have them stay and get a green card. And then there's the ones who have the green card who become U.S. citizens. And so the funny thing about the test, and everyone thinks it's easy and so forth, but it's not an easy process. There's a lot of security background checks. And one of the reason delays before, it used to be kind of a little bit quicker, like it could have taken months, but pre-COVID, everything had, like the government had, what we deal with a lot is the government agencies, and so they would have deadlines to respond. But after COVID, that's been out of the loop. So something that used to take 8 months could take a year or longer, and especially the ones who try to bring family from abroad, like you have to wait for these embassies that were shut down for months because of COVID, try to open up and catch up on cases, and they could be waiting, and their file could be sitting on a table for like a year or two just to get processed. And of course, there's consideration of security checks. It depends on everyone's case. Sometimes if there's depending where you're coming from, there's more scrutiny in security checks. So that's why it's going to take longer. So there's no predictability of how long a case could take.
Wow.
Every person's different, and you have to understand, you have to know the background of it to kind of get a better idea of what to expect.